Alright guys, today I'm going to show you guys how to change the rear wheel bearing. Seems like it's making a lot of noise, so I'm going to change it before it does further damage. I bought my part O'Reilly. That's usually where I get my parts. There's two different kinds. There's Precision, and I believe there's a different brand, a cheaper brand. But I usually get the better brand. It's a 5-year guarantee, and it's a little better, supposedly. That's what they say. So here's the part, here's the new part that I'm going to be replacing in this 2013 Malibu, Chevy Malibu. I'm going to jack it up just a little bit, and then we're going to loosen up the bolts first. Once you got them all loose, jack it up all the way. You gotta take off the bolts now. See, that's why you gotta loosen up the bolts first, because otherwise the wheel is gonna move. So this is what it looks like when you remove the tire. Now we're going to remove this little bolt right here. You can see the start bolt. This is what it looks like. Removing this is going to remove the rotor. So you can get back here to remove the wheel bearing. This right here is the wheel bearing. So this is the whole hub. So the whole thing is going to come out with these nuts. Okay, now that we have removed this little bolt from here, now we proceed in removing these bolts over here. I mean, you can remove this. This is the caliper and these are the brakes, and you can remove it by removing these bolts right here. This one and the one down here. It's right there. You can remove those, and you can remove the caliper. But I like to remove the caliper and the rotor together, which you can do by removing this bolt and the bolt down there. Can't really show you from here, this angle. It's down here somewhere. Right there, that bolt right there. This one, right there. That's what I like to remove, and it's an 18mm wrench to remove those. And you can remove it'll remove the rotor and the caliper together, and I'll show you how to do that. So I got my 18mm wrench. Both of these, you're gonna need both of these, because as you can see, this arm right here is on the way. You won't be able to get to this bolt. The bottom one is okay, but you won't be able to get to this bolt, so you can't use the ratchet. You have to use the key, to loosen it. Once you got this loose, and the other one loose, now you can remove the rotor and the caliper. Okay, I have now removed the two bolts. They go here, and I can't really show you, and down there. Now I can remove the rotor and the caliper. As you can see, comes out all together, the hub, the rotor and caliper. I usually like to set it there. And there's your wheel bearing. As you can see, it's all rusty, so I'm probably gonna have a hard time trying to take it out, since I live in northern Illinois, Chicago area. During the winter there's a lot of salt, which you can probably tell right there. It's all salt right there, rust. It's really bad for your cars. There it is, guys. All I gotta do now is remove 3 bolts. This is one of them right there, 2 and 3. But in order to remove this bolt right here, which you can see it's back there, it's behind this little arm right here, so I'm gonna have to remove this arm to be able to get to that bolt. I'm gonna show you that right now. Okay, so to remove that arm, you have to find yourself another jack. You have to jack this up, because right now all this is pressuring that arm, and then you won't be able to take this bolt out because it has too much pressure right now. You're just gonna mess up the threads on it, and it's gonna be a useless bolt basically. You try to force it out like this. So this is gonna relieve the pressure. Right there, and then you're going to proceed to remove the bolt, this bolt right here, and that's let me see the size. It's an 11/16. As you can see, I have loosened the bolt already. You can see it's really easy to take out. That's because I used the jack to jack it up. That's why it's very important to do that, because it has no pressure. See, it's really easy. Take it out. Now you can lower the jack if you would like. Makes it much easier to work back there. Lower the jack. See how this is dangling now? See, if you would have tried to take out the bolt without raising it up, would have been impossible. See, they don't even match up right now. Now that this is out of the way, now I can get to that bolt, this bolt. There's 3 of them. This one, the one down there, and this one right here. They're also 18mm bolts, or wrenches. Got it right here, ratchet. What I like to do before removing it, since as you can tell it's all rusty, I like to use PR3. It's similar to DW40. I just like this brand better. Works better for me. It loosens all the rust. It basically cleans out all the rust. It makes it easier for me to remove any part. And it's definitely gonna make it easier to remove this part. As you can tell, it's all rusty. So I'm gonna spray some of this all over the edges. And back here as well. All around there. And then I'm going to proceed in removing those bolts. I have now removed all 3 bolts from back here. 1, 2, 3. Now I can proceed and remove the wheel bearing. Usually it'll come out like nothing. But since it's been there for a while and it's been through the salt and snow winter up here in northern Illinois, it's all pretty rusty, stuck together. So you might have to hit it a couple times with the hammer to get it out. I'll proceed and do that and then take it out, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's taken out. I have now removed it. Wheel bearing. Took me a while because, as you can see, it's really rusty. It's due to the salt during the winter. So there it is, guys. Basically, when you remove it, you have to hit it. And there's no other choice. I'm sure there's a tool for this, but I do not have the tool to perform that. So you basically just have to hit it from here, or hit it from the back. But in order to hit it from the back, you have to get down there under the car, which I did. That's the reason why I put the other jack on there, for extra security. Now what I'm going to do is clean all this out, all this salt out. Make sure it's all clean before I put the new wheel bearing. So you can see this one was pretty old, really rusty. I'm going to proceed and clean that out. Okay, I've now cleaned out the inside. Looks much cleaner now. Now I'm going to proceed and install the new wheel bearing. You can see the comparison, the old one, the new one, big difference. Alright, so now we're going to install the new one. Basically, it goes in like nothing. See the difference? Basically, you gotta align the holes. First of all, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put this under. Make sure they're aligned. You can kind of tell the little lines where the old one went. I'm gonna put the new one same way. Make sure it goes this way too, because this is where the caliper is gonna go, where the brakes are going. So we line this up, and then hook up all the oil. Okay. Line it up like this, and put the bolts back on. Before you do that, I got some grease, special grease. Let me go with the grease real quick. Okay, I got some special grease. This is gonna prevent it from getting, from making it hard for you next time taking it off. It makes it way easier to take it off. It loosens the bolt. Doesn't tie it. Even if you tighten it as much as you can, it's gonna make it way easier to take it out. You don't have to put a lot in it. It's a special grease that you can get at any auto parts, Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, CarQuest, basically anywhere. Just asking for this type of a grease. It's a grease for the bolts, and it'll help it so when you have to loosen it next time, it's not as hard as the first time, because I was having a really hard time trying to take it off. All you do is rub it all around. There's that one. And I gotta put all the other two. I'll put those under, and then I'll show you guys when it's when I put all three of them on there. Okay, I've snugged up all 3 bolts. Now I'm gonna make sure they're all tight. Gotta make sure they're pretty tight so they won't ever loosen. That one. Tight. There's that one. Let's start check this one. Okay, there's that one. I'm gonna show you. See, it doesn't come off. It's on there. Turns. There's 1, 2, and 3. Pretty tight. They're not too tight, but not loose. There it is, guys. Now I gotta put everything back together, and yeah, that's how you install the rear wheel bearing. I'm gonna show you guys how to put everything back together, which is basically the same thing we did before, but backwards. You gotta work yourself back, put everything back together, and you should be set. Okay, I'm now gonna jack this up so I can put this bolt back on, back in this arm, as we did before. Jack it up so it evens out with an edge. Bolt back on there, make sure it's tight. You can leave the jack up too, because otherwise it's gonna be make it way harder for you when you might mess up the bolt, the threads on the bolt. Okay, so I have tightened the arm up. Now, before I do that, bring the back down. Back down. Now that everything's back in place, we can proceed and put the rotor and caliper back under. But before you put it back on there, you gotta make sure you line this hole up with the hole over here in the hub, in the wheel bearing hub, because that's where this little bolt's going. So you make sure you line it up. See, it's not very easy. It takes a little bit of time. go. Got it. Show you. See how they're both lined up now? That's how it's supposed to be. Now this is gotta be lined up so I can put these two bolts back together, which, as you remember, they go right there, this little hole, and the hole down there, so you can see it down there. I'm gonna proceed and put these on there right now. Okay, I have now tightened both bolts, this one and the one in the back. Now I can put this little one back in here. Now we'll put the rotor back in place. This one doesn't really have to be that tight. It's a little snug. Be set. I have now put everything back together. Now all I gotta do is put the tire back on. But before I do that, I'll put a little bit of this grease on all of these. And then I'll put the tire back on. I finished putting the grease back on there. Now I'm gonna put the tire back on, and that should be all set. As you can see. Now you're going to tighten it as much as you can while it's still lifted up. Should all be pretty tight. If not tight, snug. Now, snug them up. Now I can bring the jack back down slowly. Now the tires back down. Now you can tighten it all the way. Everything's done now. Here we go, guys. From start to finish. Now I'm gonna go give it a try. See how it performs. It's 2013 Chevy Malibu.